to a department store, which was located on this property where this building is now, and I bought a coffee pot and a small refrigerator. And then I went looking for a supermarket so that I could get some coffee and milk to use those. And it turns out there was no supermarket very close to this. But anyways, after that, the next day we had 4 employees. One thing we did not have at the beginning was any customers. And so I'm sympathetic to those that are starting new businesses. Somebody once said you can always tell who the proprietor is. At the end of the day, that's the woman or the man with the broom sweeping up after everybody else has gone home. And I will say it was an awful lot of fun, still is, but it was more fun at the very beginning where you were involved in everything and you just had that belief that it was going to work. In my experience, it took 3 years from when we started the company till we got our first customer. The first year was easy because you had enthusiasm. The last year was easy because you could tell that that light of the end of the tunnel was not a train coming towards you. It was really the light, this was going to work. The middle year was a little bit more complex, and that's when your family says to you, well, I know you're going to do it. I know it's going to work. We have enormous confidence in you, but just in case, don't you want to take a job on the side, do this part-time and that sort of thing? And that's where it was tough. And I think in some senses what kept me going was I just didn't want to admit that it wasn't going to work. And so whether I thought it was going to work deep down inside, I don't know. I've never let my mind dwell on bad things. And if there's one piece of advice I can give you, it's to do that. And just not just in your business, but in life. Don't worry about it. If there's a bad thing, get it out of your mind. If somebody comes up and smacks you right in the face, and then you admit to the pain and you start screaming back, they've won twice. Don't let anybody win twice. Just suck it up, get on with it, and believe that it's going to work. Now, sometimes it doesn't work, and then you got to recover and say, let's go out and do it again, and that's fine. That's the great American dream. In this country, it's one of the real differences between us and other countries is that here, failure isn't failure. It's a step. It's a process. It's a learning experience. And people here today, isn't it so wonderful? My son or my daughter, they're on their 4th company. The first 3 didn't work, but there's so, and that's okay. And then you go elsewhere, and one failure, you're tarred for life. And that's why more innovation takes place in America, I think, than any place else. I did want to extend a welcome to all the small business owners joining us from around the country. There is one company, it's not a small business anymore, happens to be a good customer at Bloomberg, not as big as it should be, but nevertheless, Lloyd Blankfein, whose idea this was. Lloyd and I have many things in common. We're both 6'2". It's not funny, folks. But let me tell you, this is going to embarrass Lloyd. You shouldn't embarrass your customers, but I'm going to do it anyways. My first job, the first job offer I had was from Goldman Sachs, and I turned them down to go to Salomon Brothers. Lloyd Blankfein was never offered a job by Goldman Sachs, even though he tried. That's a true story. He went to work. He couldn't get in. He went to work for another company, J. Aaron, and that was bought by Goldman, and that's how he got into the company. Now, he wound up running it. So in the end, living well is the best revenge. But nevertheless, and Dina Powell, Catherine Jolan, and Jessica Taylor, a Bloomberg administration alum, and the rest of the team at Goldman Sachs. So thanks to all of you. They really have done a great job at creating and running this program, and I am glad to serve as co-chair of the advisory board. Also, in addition to Lloyd on the stage, one of the great governors in this country, the governor of Rhode Island, Gina Raimondo. She is somebody we were glad to support from the very beginning. We had faith in her. We thought she was going to win. We thought she'd be a great governor and do wonderful things for Rhode Island, a state that has lots of challenges, like all states do, and she really has. And Bloomberg Philanthropies has been honored to work with her on a number of new programs, and we're working again together on this one. We're also glad to have with us Marco Zappacosta, the CEO of Thumbtack. His business is connecting people with workers who have the skills they need, and that's really something to understand that that's what we need. It's worth remembering that small businesses account for a majority of American jobs, and they really are the engines of innovations and the backbone of our economy. And most big companies, not all, but most did start out as small companies, and so that's the incubator, and if we stop that incubator, we're not going to have a future. We have every reason to help them grow, and today's a chance to do that by addressing some of the common concerns facing small businesses, from organization planning to marketing to attracting talent. We've did a lot of this kind of work with our administration in City Hall. It helped us create a record number of jobs in New York City, and it's the kind of work that we have to do more across this whole country. So I want to thank the Bloomberg and Goldman employees who have taken time to volunteer today. We really appreciate your time and your effort. A special thanks to Nanette Smith in the back there. Nanette, wave your hand. She and the Philanthropies engagement team here at Bloomberg, which are helping coach this session, have been great partners with the people from Goldman Sachs who've been doing this around the country and around the world. It's a great program. I thought it's a very innovative thing. It's not one of these things that you do just to get some press. Goldman's really making a difference in our country and in our world by helping people get going. And the impact of what Goldman is doing will go on for a very long time, as some of these companies will, decades from now, be the big companies of the world. We have a video which we want to show you what we've accomplished together. Take a look at the video, and after that we are going to have a panel where we'll all say very insightful things, gems that you should write down and remember. Thank you.
The backbone of Rhode Island's economy are small businesses, and we can't do enough to give them a hand, to help them write a business plan, to help them think about how to market, to give them capital, a small loan. I'm really excited that 10,000 Small Businesses is choosing Rhode Island as the first statewide partner, and it's all part of our plan for continued economic growth, economic resurgence, and that's what this program offers.
Our guiding principle in this country is equality of opportunity. 10,000 small businesses is a big part of that.
I'm Peter DeStefano, the owner of DeStefano Brothers Construction. We are a design build remodeling company in South Kingston, Rhode Island. What I enjoy most about being a small business owner is hiring people, working with people, helping homeowners create their dream and bringing that to life for them. Some of the challenges that I faced as a small business owner were not really understanding how to run a business. We struggled with finances, understanding our numbers, really being able to forecast ahead in the future to see what that was going to look like for us. Since graduating the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program, our business has changed tremendously. We have 2 locations now, we have a fleet of trucks. Our revenue has gone up 180% in 2 years. We've been able to bring on 13 more people. What I enjoy most about being a small business owner in Rhode Island is making a difference. It's easy to make a difference by hiring. In any community that we work in, we try to make a positive change one way or another.
Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses gives people the opportunity to get over that initial hump, prove themselves, create a reputation, or get the knowledge to survive and thrive. And I think it's wonderful that Goldman Sachs is doing this because small businesses are what ties together neighborhoods. It is a very big part of society.
I never feel better about the prospects of the United States than when I hear a small business person describe their business opportunity, her commitment, and when you see that, you begin to be very, very secure that the American dream is secure for another generation.
I'll pick it up from here. I'm Alex Steele. I work in TV here at Bloomberg. I'm on the morning show here. I have to say, it's great to be here. The energy here is quite electric. I don't know if all of you can feel it. It has been a really challenging 24 hours for the country, and I think that none of us have slept in the last 48. So it's so great. There's so much positive energy in here, and that's so nice to be a part of. So to kick it off, I wanted to have all the small business owners kind of stand up, introduce themselves, and I personally would love to hear of the one thing that you kind of really want to address today from your panels. We can kick it off with Michelle, I think, is going to go first, and flick on your mic when you stand up.
Hello?
Okay. Michelle? No, Roy. Okay, you guys have your own order. Okay, your own order. You
Yes.
go. You go.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. My name is Roy Castro. I am the CEO of D&M Ice Cream. I am an ice cream distribution company based out of Long Island City, New York. During the program, I focused on developing a new product line that will help offset my off-season by strengthening the company with this new product line. I am proud to say that I have grown revenues up to $1.8 million. Today, during my coaching team, I am looking forward to getting advice on business development. Thank you very much.
Since graduating the program, we've grown our business 25%. We've hired 37 new people, and today we're seeking advice from my coaches on financial modeling.
Hi, I'm Lori Cole from the Elevator Consultants based in Chicago. We provide buildings with elevator consulting services, solutions, and software. We impact operational efficiency 100% of the time in every single engagement we do. During the Goldman Sachs program, we increased revenues by over 200%. During this program today, what I'm really hoping to do is taking our Internet of Things software from just being elevators to focusing on other building operations in the mechanical rooms.
Good morning, I'm Christine Canine, CEO of Higher Image, headquartered in Johnston, Rhode Island. Happy to be here today. We're a background and drug screening company, and we're one of less than 5% of all companies to earn industry accreditation. During the 10KSB program, my growth plan focused on increasing my suite of services to the financial services sector. We're still in our early stages of that growth plan as a recent graduate, but we're hoping to grow our sales from just 25% in that market. And I'm looking forward today to my coaches helping me to develop and implement a best-in-class sales team.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Enrique Torres. I'm the president of Excellent Fruit and Produce, a produce distribution company that delivers to restaurants, hotels, hospitals in South Florida. This initiative led me to implement accountability measures which reduced our mistakes and increased our quality. Since the program, our revenues had more than doubled. Today, we stand at $4.5 million. So I seek advice in how to transition into an impending expansion plan.
Good morning. My name is Jess Sanchez-McClary, and my company is McClary Brothers, and we manufacture drinking vinegars, a colonial-era cocktail or soda mixer in Detroit. After finishing the program, I grew our company from being served or sold in just 60 locations. I took the skills that I learned and pitched my business on ABC's Shark Tank. And today we're served or sold in over 1,000 locations in 27 states, and we've grown to be the largest company in our category in the country. Today I'm hoping to get some advice from my coaches on financial modeling.
My name is Michael Peticolis. I built the Peticolis Brewing Company in Dallas, Texas, just over 4 years ago. And in that first year, I was the brewery's only brewer, cellarman, representative, and distributor. I'm excited today to gain insight on staffing structure to support growth, as my prior participation in the program not only resulted in revenue growing by 40% and a 20% employee growth rate, but it provided the tools to build a solid foundation for our crew of honest, friendly, down-to-earth brewers to deliver world-class passion in a glass.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joe Spencer. I'm president of Louisiana Creole Gumbo Restaurant in Detroit. Our restaurant specializes in Creole foods, and we are a true taste of New Orleans here in Detroit. Since graduating from the Goldman Sachs program, my business has grown by 40%. We've added 14 new employees. We've opened a new store, and for the first time, we surpassed $1 million in annual sales. I'm here today looking for help in our human resource development for the future growth that we see for our company. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Joaquin Rhodes, and I'm the CEO and executive chef of Bacchanal Fine Wine and Spirits. We are New Orleans' backyard wine party. During the Goldman Sachs program, we've focused on streamlining our processes, and that led to a 100% increase in our profits. Today, I'm looking for advice on financial modeling to become the nation's backyard wine party.
Good morning. My name is Quincy Roberts. I'm president of Roberts Trucking, located in Dallas, Texas. Roberts Trucking provides hauling services for the construction industry. During the program, I focused on gaining access to capital to expand our company's fleet. Since then, we have grown our revenues from $7 to $10 million annually, and now employ upwards to 285 persons. Today, I'm looking forward to working with my coaching team on implementing technology to make our business processes more efficient.
Good morning. My name is Mike Billadou, owner of IO Environmental and Infrastructure, a disabled vet environmental remediation construction firm. Since graduating Goldman Sachs, we doubled our revenue to $12 million, added 2 new offices, 1 nationwide, and added 22 new employees while maintaining a 40% veteran workforce. I'm here today at Goldman Sachs to help increase our profitability.
Good morning. I'm Michelle Gobert, and I'm president of Signs Now, located in downtown New Orleans. We produce larger-than-life graphics for the major sporting events, like the NFL Super Bowl. While in the 10KSB program, we really focused on streamlining our production processes, and in doing so, we were able to reduce our cost of goods sold and increase our bottom line profitability. While here today working with our coaches, I'm really looking forward to being able to build a motivated, sustainable sales team. Thank you.
My name is Charles Smith. I'm the CEO of CS Insurance Strategies based in Chicago, Illinois. During the program, we focused on My Health Method, which is a health and wellness company that leads to population health visibility. Since the program, we've grown over 200%, and I was named to Chicago Crane's top 40 under 40. What I'd like to achieve today is rebranding our company and our new approach to what we consider the next $1 trillion industry. Thank you.
Great. Wow, that was really impressive. I'm pretty inspired. Okay, so I want to start with you, Lloyd. We heard some incredible numbers from people. I mean, growing revenue by 900%.
You're not going to hear that from me.
And I won't ask you. What about the program do you feel works really well?
Well, I think, first of all, I have to admit, we start with terrific people, and then we give them some tools. But we don't create these people. These people are created themselves. But it just goes to show what a core of energy and intelligence and commitment that there is. But people lack basic things. So like fundamental skills. People talk about financial modeling or negotiation skills, business planning that we take for granted, and we help people not gain confidence, but gain confidence from the real content that they get in learning how to do these things. And then of course, other things in some cases like capital, how to apply for loans. Again, modeling. What is financial modeling? If I pay for this refrigerator, how long does it take? What do I have to charge? And how long will it take me to get paid back for that investment in my restaurant? And things like that. And so, we add a lot around the edges. The basic core is already there, but that little bit that you add around the edges is the tipping point between whether somebody takes a risk or doesn't, makes a hire or doesn't, or succeeds or not.
You think it's easy to teach that?
I think it's not easy to teach the passion and the commitment and the core, which is why we are very, very careful in the selection process. In other words, we're not taking people with a blank sheet of paper. We start with people who already have been in business, have a certain over a certain threshold of revenue and time in their job, because we know we can't teach that. But these other elements, of course, you can teach.
Governor, Rhode Island had got about $10 million from the Small Business Fund. It's sort of the first of its kind. How did that work out? Where did that come about?
Well, I had heard about the program, and being a former entrepreneur and investor myself, I said, I want this in Rhode Island. And I reached out to some friends of mine at Goldman, including John Rogers. I said, I want this program in Rhode Island. He said, well, Governor, this is a program for cities. I said, well, come on, Rhode Island's a city-state. Do it in Rhode Island. And so thank you. You've done it. It's a huge program, $10 million investment statewide. We're off and running. We're halfway through our first class now. By the way, something that thrills me, more than half of the small businesses in our first class are women-owned businesses, and more than a third are minority-owned businesses. And I love that. This is about making sure everybody has an opportunity. But what I have found and why I was so eager to have this program is most entrepreneurs I know in these small businesses, as Lloyd said, they have passion. But they typically have passion for the thing they love. Maybe that is cooking or jewelry or leather goods, or you're an architect. But chances are they're not great at financial skills, how to scale a business, how to hire, how to recruit, how to retain people. And so why am I doing this? Because I want to take these folks with this passion, and if they grow their businesses, that grows my economy. Most people in Rhode Island work in a small business. So if we run, it is the lifeblood of our economy. So if every one of these companies that goes through this program adds 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 jobs, that is a meaningful improvement in our economy.
What kind of demand have you noticed?
Huge demand. We were oversubscribed for our first class. As Lloyd said, it's a competitive process. So, we had to screen out a number of companies, but we're gearing up for our next class, and I expect it to be even further oversubscribed, and I'm behind it. I mean, this is, our community college is very much involved in this. This is a core piece of my economic development effort. I can't wait for our first graduation. I'm very excited for that. So we're going to make it a success, and it's going to be good for Rhode Island and good for our economy.
Mike, President-elect Trump has said he wants to create 25 million jobs. Can you help quantify how much of that needs to come from small business, just how important that is to the overall economy?
Well, we always talk about big government, but government is a very tiny percentage of where people work. They work in the private industry. Big companies started as small. There's half the people in the country who work in the private sector do work for small companies. Small companies are constantly turning over as the world changes. Some of them merge, some of them keep growing, some of them sadly go out of business because small businesses really are at the intersection of where people spend their money. It's where the rubber meets the road. They can't fake it. You've got to really have a product. I've looked even at our company, Peter Grauer, who's along with Tom Secunda, has been running our company here. If you listen to them, they keep talking about we've got to have product and we've got to service our customers. And that's what everybody's got to do. And if you do that, you're going to keep creating jobs. I don't think there's any federal program that can create an enormous number of jobs, the kind of numbers that we really need in this country. It's going to have to be done by the private sector. Government has limited abilities to help small businesses. Generally, what governments do is, you can argue, they get in the way. They tax them. Well, we have to do that because we want to be able to have schools and hospitals and security and that sort of thing. But that is an impediment to growth. So if you can get taxes down, that helps. They tend to give you a lot of bureaucratic stuff. We do want to have licensing and tests and requirements and safety for the public to make sure people don't sell products or do things that are damaging, but it is an impediment. We've got to find ways to have a government that is intelligent, tries to do its job, but at the same time understands that the solution is on the private side. And I think we've got to get away from the thought that there's something wrong with capitalism. One of the problems we have in this country today is we've stopped teaching history. And I've always thought that the Bernie Sanders phenomenon, people said, yeah, democratic socialism. That sounds good. It's democratic. And that's socialism. Yeah, that's social media stuff. You know, we've got to have our children look to role models both in the public sector and in the private sector. And in the end, most of the heroes are going to be in the private sector. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to say the creativity that Goldman showed with this, and the great thing that would happen would be with places like Rhode Island, copy it and start doing their own things. It's the leverage that you really need to make this country work.
And Marco, that's a perfect introduction to you. You know, you're in the trenches, you've been there, but you still always need to expand, right? What do you need to see from a new administration or any administration that's really going to help you take you to the next level?
So first off, thanks for having me. We are huge fans of this program. As your least distinguished panelist, I was most recently in your shoes, and I'm jealous that you have the resources of sort of this Goldman Sachs program to sort of learn and fill in all the knowledge gaps that we all had when we were starting. But to your question around what do we want to see the administration do, I just want to see them put small business front and center. You know, we are based in Silicon Valley. We're a technology company that empowers small business to find customers online. And something that we are often frustrated by is that the debate that happens in Washington and more broadly is often about big business. It's about big technology companies. It's about big established enterprises. And that's fine, and we should certainly talk about them. But we want to make sure that we give voice to the millions and millions of small businesses that are out there. And that's something that we've tried to do, and we hope that the administration listens. And we have examples of that. In fact, the state of Rhode Island, we put out a survey of our small businesses every year, and the state of Rhode Island was one of the few states to invite us in and help sort of listen and learn about what our collection of small businesses from the state had said, such that they could think harder about what they were working on to make sure that they were serving these small businesses well. So we would love to have that dialogue at sort of every level, and we just hope that they keep small business front and center.
I wanted to go through some of the challenges that in the survey sort of cropped up, and Marco, I just want to touch on something. That's access to capital. Can you talk me through what your experience was like with access to capital?
Yeah, so it's like you know, an umbrella for a sunny day, right? When you need it, it's never there, and that's a very frustrating phenomenon. In fact, Thumbtack almost died in the fall of 2011 when we went out to raise our first sort of real bit of fundraising from institutional investors, and we didn't know how to do it. And we really struggled. We got 42 no's and 1.5 yeses. Obviously, the 1.5 came at the very end. Otherwise, we would not have talked to everybody. But it was formative in the business. And I think, the benefit that we got from that is it really forged the DNA of the business in that we were mission driven and we were very sort of oriented around sort of making this thing happen. And I'm sure, and I mean, all the stories that you guys said are just, you guys are hustlers. And finding money is just one of the ingredients that you need to be successful. It's the people, it's your customers, it's your product, it's your brand, and the money is the lifeblood too. So it's just one more of the struggles to make it all work.
And Lloyd has the money. He has the checkbook. So Goldman Sachs started Marcus, so really kind of cater to consumer loans and such. What kind of demand do you see, and is there anything that stands in the way of Goldman Sachs giving the kind of loans that they want to give?
Well, Marcus, which is a consumer loan company, that's we also are a bank, and so we're lending money. We're lending money to consumers. The financing for businesses like this, look, it is hard. Frankly, it should be hard. You have to get over a threshold. There's a screening element that goes into this, and it's a self-selection too. I talk about passion. Those are just idle words and concepts where the rubber meets the roads, where people kill themselves to get the dough. Having said that, it should be difficult, but it shouldn't be impossible. And when you think of the resources in this country that go into financing bigger business and the instrumentalities of that, there's very, very little bit set aside for small business. And then this goes to the mayor's point about bureaucracy. When you grapple with the small business administration, you need to be a large business to fill out the forms, and in a lot of cases. And so the bureaucracy, so when we survey our own small business owners, aside from getting good people and access to capital, the thing that's most cited is bureaucracy and regulation. And so, we, as we always do, we take advantage of our partners, and so we've partnered with CDFIs, so community financial institutions. We've provided them some funding. We've kind of hinted to others that they can also help provide some funding to these things. And through that instrumentality, through that spigot, we've tried to provide access, a little bit easier access to capital, and especially to favor the people who've gone through our program, which we've argued are better positioned to take advantage of that capital and use it well.
Well, and Governor, it leads me to you, is that yes, access to capital is one part. The other is finding skilled labor. Like 70% of respondents said they just can't find the right workers for the job. How do you deal with that as governor of a state?
So that is an area where government, I think, can play an important role. Although I agree with what the mayor said. There's no one thing. It's lower taxes, a streamlined regulatory environment, good infrastructure, honest government. But on the skills piece of it, government has a huge role to play. It means making sure our public schools work. I've said everyone should graduate high school ready for college or ready for a career. One thing that I'm very proud of that we've just started to do in Rhode Island is, starting in the fall, we'll be one of the first states in the country to teach computer science in every public school in every grade, starting in kindergarten, K through 12, because it's an essential skill. Digital literacy is an essential skill. We've also rolled out a program so every high school student in a public high school can take college classes for free while they're in high school. So, and just a lot more with our community college partnering with industry. It is more important than ever that...
Is it internships? In what way do you partner with the industry?
Basically, I've done a lot of this, just calling industry and saying, what skills do you need? So I'll give you a great example. Electric Boat is a huge employer in Rhode Island. It's one of our most important employers. They make the best submarines in the world are made in Rhode Island. Thousands of employees.
Electric Boat sounds so cute.
It does. Yeah.
Submarines are a little scarier.
Not one of these, right? Exactly. So early on in my tenure as governor, I think like the first or second day I was in the office, I was reaching out to as many businesses as I could. I called the senior guys at Electric Boat. I said, what do you need? And they said, hey, Gov, we got a problem here, which is we need to hire 4,000 people, and we're happy to do it in Rhode Island, but only if you can give us the welders we need and this we need and that we need. So we set up a special program in our community college specifically to fulfill their demands. And that's just one example. We are going, and it's working. It's absolutely working. They're hiring those people. We're doing a similar thing with CVS, with IT, healthcare IT employees. So I think you got to first figure out where's the demand and then re-engineer your workforce system to fulfill that demand.
And so last question goes to you, Mike, and we're going to break off into individual panels. That takes a while. Like, that's not an overnight fix. And you've been sort of front and center, Mike, as well, with sort of programs to help fill any kind of skill gap. Can you talk us through what you found that seems to work?
Well, Alex, I think there are probably more open jobs than there are people looking for work, by a lot. This mismatch between skill sets is something that has come out of a dumbing down of our public school system across the country. We used to be in the top 10, now we're in the top 50. It is coming from a misguided effort starting in the 60s, where the zeitgeist was, you have to get everybody ready for college. If they're not going to go to college, they're not going to have a career. I don't know how to break this to you, but if you have two children and one starts out going to become a welder and one starts out going to Harvard College, the Harvard kid will never catch up to the welder. Depend on the welder kid to support your family, because she or he is going to have a job. What always strikes me when I go to these fairs and you ooh and you ah at these innovation programs, and you talk to the people who are gathered around a screen and you say, well, what'd you do? What'd you build? Oh, we built a great app. It lets you lock and unlock your garage door from 3,000 miles away. And that just tells you, you got to understand that the laws of supply and demand are, if you're going to get the two together, they have to match someplace. And so what we've got to do is make sure we have vocational training in the schools, because it's very hard to outsource a plumbing job to another country. You don't have to have perfect command of the English language. What really is important is hard work. And I think that if there's one message I can give you, your businesses will be successful if you can attract and keep and engage people who have ideas and aren't afraid to tell you that, to explain that the idea you have isn't the best, maybe there's something better. And so you got to listen and you got to engage people. Nobody does anything that I can think of by themselves. Even an author doesn't work by her or his self. They have to work with publishers and editors and lots of other things. And so we've got to start focusing on making sure that our children are getting the kind of education that they're going to need for the world of the future, which is more technological. But also we've got to find ways to take people who are out there long past their ability to go to school, middle-aged people who are going to need jobs, and help them get to the right places and do the right things. And it's very hard. That's the cohort that is the most difficult to retrain. Very hard to go back to school when you're in your 50s. And it's very hard looking at your end of life saying, wait a second, nobody's going to employ me after I'm 60, 65, or 70. Sounds young to me. And yet I'm going to live to my 80s or 90s. And as people start living longer, we've got to figure out how they're going to be able to support themselves. Living on Social Security does not give people a warm and fuzzy feeling. It doesn't let you live very well. It doesn't let you live the lifestyle you've had while you work. And so that's the conundrum, and that's where government can really do some things. And I'm not a big advocate. I don't believe the federal government's going to do a very good job. I think it's the state governments that are going to really make a difference there, and the cities that are going to make a difference there, because that's where they understand what the jobs are. They don't just deal in position papers. They deal in going and talking to people. The governor walks down the street and somebody comes up and says, I don't have a job. You got to do something for me. President of the United States doesn't get to meet people who say, I've got to have a job. There's just a disconnect at the federal level that does not exist at the government level, and certainly at the governor's level, and certainly doesn't exist at the city's level.
Well, guys, thanks so much. We do have to break. I want to get you all to your panels. Dr. Gina, and you're going to take it from here. But thank you so much. It was a real pleasure to talk to you guys today. And good luck to all the small business owners. Next time, bring ice cream.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful program.
Thank you very much. And good job.
Thank you for taking it on.
I wish we had 10,000 small states.
Okay, I know we're all eager to get to our rooms, but first of all, I want to thank the special guests who are with us today and invite them to the stage. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's a pleasure to meet you. Good luck. This is awesome.
So first of all, for the business owners, any of you that checked your bags on the 28th floor,
Thanks, yeah.
So we grab the governor and we'll head on down.
Yep. Let me just get my mic off. Hold on.
How'd everything go?
Great. It was really...
For the coaching teams again, you won't be surprised that there will be some of us floating throughout the day. We'll just be floating in, floating out silently just to check and see, make sure that you don't really need anything. Also for the coaching teams, there were probably a few of you that were not able to be there last night. So if the team will first start off by recapping what we had did last night, and then just catch everybody up and go from there. So is everybody ready? Okay. We're going to dismiss very orderly. We're going to call out where you're going, who's looking for you, and they will escort you down to your room. So first off, for higher image, if you'll exit and look for Becca, Excellent Fruit and Produce, look for Sarah, and McClary Brothers, look for Lauren. Everybody else, hang on for a moment. Hey, Dina. Hi, Gail. Okay, next group. Elevator consultants, please look for Mia. Petacolis Brewing Company, Sabina. And LCG Foods, please find Molly. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, next group. Bacchanal Wine, please look for Chelsea. Wine and Spirits. A&R Staffing, please look for Pui. Pui. All right, next group. D&M Ice Cream, please go for Molly. And Roberts Trucking, Nina. Roy's here at the end. You go for Molly. Good, good. Have a good day. Thank you. All right, Patricia, Jiden Cleaning, ready? You will go with Sarah. Sarah, yep. Sarah's waving back there. Pop Art Snacks, if you would please go with Laura. Lucy, look. Laura's over here. Hi, Jane. Okay. CS Insurance Strategies, you are going with Rena. And where is Rena?
Rena is in the back of the room. CS Insurance with Rena.
Okay. Signs Now, Shadow.
Shadow is right on this
Right
side,
there.
So you guys can head out that door.
And very funny, Mike, IO Environmental Infrastructure. You're going with Mike.
Mike is in the orange tie. Not that Mike. Sorry to disappoint. Yeah, this Mike is pretty great too. Have a good time. Thank you so much. Oh, it's a pleasure. I'll take it. Yeah. Thank you. Good to see you too. Oh, wow. Enjoy the rest of your day. That boss always telling everybody where to go.
Hello, good to see you. This is not the last one I get to see you at, right? This is the third one.
This is the third one. I wasn't at the first one.
Are you still retiring? No.
What?
You're not retiring, right? Oh, what?
What? My heart fell
Oh,
on the
is
floor.
that,